This is Hindsight Radio.
I represent it.
The information station changing the nation.
Peace, everybody. This is Akeem L from Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody having their peace, prosperity, health, and their wealth with them, or at least in mind daily. You know, in order to achieve the things that you want, you must think on them daily, every second of the day. You need a lot of money, think a lot of money. Like you already have it daily. Write it down on a card. Repeat it throughout the day. Let them zombies think you are crazy. That's okay. While they're sitting over there in the streets praising or dancing and happy, skinning and grinning that they got them a new president, Biden. That was funny to me. I saw all these folks in the street, people of color, dancing for this guy who don't give a damn about him. Like he's gonna be president, a better president than the last presidents. Meanwhile, through all of these presidencies, our people have been still getting shot down in the street, disproportionately incarcerated. Our children in the schools are not treated fairly, but yet these fools had time to go out there and dance, and we got rid of Trump. You know what that's symbolic of to me? See, Trump represents wealth, that name. When you think of Trump, you think of money, think of wealth. And what it represents to me is that the large majority of people do not like people with money. Now, as Trump says some things that I wouldn't say or seem ridiculous, yes, but what president do you know that hasn't said something that didn't seem ridiculous? See, the narrative that most people believe on Trump is because the media has just so blatantly been against him, the mainstream media. So these zombies are just following. That's right, I'm calling those zombies. And if you one of those zombies, I'm calling you a zombie. Because all zombies do is want to eat up the living. Use up all the resources. They don't think. They just follow. They hear a sound. Oh, let me go over there. Biden won. Oh, let me go over there and dance in the street like a fool. And I'm talking specifically to people that have my complexion of skin. We ain't got time to be dancing in the street with our people at the bottom of the scale when it comes to economics. Are you serious? You need to be dealing with your house, putting your businesses in order. And especially, you know what? Since I am a man, I'm going to speak to the men. Y'all out there dancing in the streets and your families are suffering at the hands of your oppressor. Are you kidding me? You don't have time to be thinking about Biden being president, Trump being president, whoever they thinking about being president. I done told y'all that's not y'all government. They're not your people. They're the trustees for the real government. And I'm about to expose that today. I got this document up here talking about the Charter of the Organization of American States. And it says Charter of the Organization of American States. It doesn't say United States. And I'm going to tell y'all who these American states are. Okay? I know there was some discussion or dispute some time ago. Oh, no, not American. That's this, that, and the other. Whatever. I'm proving every day what I'm talking about. People talking, prove. And I may change my mind. Or if you got something that's working and it's got real benefits for the people, prove it. Because right now, when I'm skimming through Facebook, YouTube, all I see is rhetoric and presumptions about what might work. Okay? You've been riding with me for a while. I show y'all what do work, what I've done. Okay? Yeah. Brothers, y'all ain't got time to be out there dancing and happy for your next slave master, because that's what the president, that's all he is. He's the overseer of the plantation for his U.S. citizens. All right, wake up. Y'all, yeah. Let me stop because I could talk all day on that one. All right, so the reason for this video is, as you can see, chart of the Organization of American States. This is from the Avalon. I put the links. I put the links of everything I talk about in the chat or in the description. So y'all can go read it for yourself. You and me, I'm going to be skimming through this just to highlight points that you can use for remedy, because definitely you could use this as a remedy. This is, when I get finished reading this, and as I'm saying this, I'm wobbling my head. I'm like, yo, when I get finished with this, y'all gonna be like, wow. Ain't none of those other teachers ever even went this deep. And right now, I'm like heading straight for the center, the core of this whole process. Tell y'all the truth, I'm already at the core. I'm just going back because I have got to the core a long time ago. Now it's time to me to take y'all through the steps I went through. All right, let's go. And this is the document. Avalon, I'm going to the top. It's got 110 articles. So I'm not reading that, right? It's a decade of American foreign policy, 1941 to 1949. Bogota Conference of American States, Chart of Organization of American States, March 30th to May 2nd, 1948. Now, I'm like, what are they talking about? When I said Bogota, it's like, yo, are they talking about us? Of course they are. They're not talking about U.S. citizens, though. Okay? They're not talking about U.S. citizens. See, just a little side note. When they put together the DS-11 for the passport, it was designed for Americans to get their passport to be able to travel everywhere, right? Especially to the other American states or countries, right? Because, states and countries, pretty much the same words. It's a synonym for that, right? So, but since the United States don't have any real population of living people, they put a front up, and they did it in the oath. And you can go back and watch that video on the DS-11 where I read that oath. Because it says, you are a U.S. citizen, blah, 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 unless you give us your explanatory statements and follow the instructions on page 4 in acts and conditions, right? So what it was really saying, I'm going to put it in other words, you are a U.S. citizen unless you tell us you are an American national by doing these two things, explanatory statements and page 4. Follow those directions, right? They, instead of putting the American first, they wanted to trick you into being a U.S. citizen by those words. Lawyers wrote that, right? We got to keep them on the plantation. And all you people, y'all showed how, let me rephrase that. All you zombies, y'all show how much y'all want to stay on the plantation when y'all jumped out there in the street and was dancing for Biden becoming president. We ain't got time to be doing that type of stuff, for real. Because if y'all haven't been paying attention, stuff's about to get real. This year's not over. 2020 been something, and this year's not over. And I'm intentional and putting my intentions on my life that I'm not going. Whatever's going to go down, it ain't going to happen in my house. We're going to be shielded from that because my mind is always staying in the positive, wealthy, healthy, making sure the money's flowing, to me and my family. That's what y'all need to be worried about. Y'all sitting up, but see, all that stuff's just right. Y'all watching that stuff on TV and y'all ain't thinking about making no money. Y'all watching TikTok, watching Facebook. Yeah, I want y'all to watch YouTube, watch my videos, because my videos is going to show y'all how to take care of y'all business. Watch these things with the intention of being successful at something. I wouldn't do all this entertainment. See, entertainment is a distraction. It's okay to have a good time, but there's a time for everything. And right now, we at DEF CON 200, our community. All right. So it's got 110 articles, Charter of Organization of American States. And it says, in the name of their peoples, the states represented in the 9th International Conference of American States. So who is represented in this conference, right? Let's go to Wikipedia. The Inter-American Conference on Problems of War and Peace, right? And it breaks down here. I'm not going to read all of that, but I want to go to the countries. The Organization of American States, the OAS, and if you highlight that, it's going to bring up a little drop down that says the Organization of American States, or the OAS or OEA, is a continental organization that was founded on 30th April 1948. Now, look how they wrote that. 30th April 1948. Y'all need to be restructuring your paper and writing everything like that. Put the day, the month, and then the year. That's how real Americans write. Okay? For the purposes of solidarity and cooperation among its member states within the Western Hemisphere. During the Cold War, the United States hoped the OAS would, I don't want to go there. Well, that's just a gist. I was going to go read that, but it'll take me away from where I want, and I don't want to lose it. So all the people that's a part of this, or the American states that's a part of it, here it is. Antigua, Barbuda, Argentina, Barbados, Brazil, Belize, Bahamas, Bolivia, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, Grenada, Guatemala, Guyana, not Ghana, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, St. Kitts, Nevis, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, United States, Uruguay, and Venezuela. And you see it says United States, right? So United States is coming in. The United States is coming as the trustee for the American states. The true people. Okay? That's the trustee. See, the other these, they're coming in as self. But since there's so many states, which is 50 of them, you have to send the trustee in, which is called the United States. So when they're talking about American, you're not going to see U.S. citizen in this anywhere. That's why y'all got to stop checking them boxes. U.S. citizen, U.S. citizen. Stop checking them boxes, y'all. Because U.S. citizens are confined to here. And the only rights they got is what the Congress gives them. Okay? Now, here's the University of Minnesota Human Rights Library. See, you'll find so much information if you go to the human rights sections of things. And how I found this, I was looking for something else. I was really looking for the style manual for something else. And then sometimes I get distracted and I start reading something else. And I said, oh, wow, this is really good information. So this document looks a little bit to be in. The preamble is on the right side, but I'm going to start with the preamble. And it says, all men are born free and equal in dignity and in rights. It says all men, right? You notice it's saying men. In dignity and rights, and men encompasses men and women. Okay, let's be, I just want to be clear on that. In dignity and rights and being endowed by nature. See, they're talking natural law now. With reason and conscience, they should conduct themselves as brothers one to another. The fulfillment of duty by each individual is a prerequisite to the rights of all. Rights and duties are interrelated in every social and political activity of man. While rights exalt individual liberty, duties express the dignity of that liberty. Duties of juridical nature presuppose others of a moral nature, which support them in principle and constitute their basis. So as it says, duties of juridical nature presuppose others. Let's see what that says. Let's see what presuppose mean. Let me highlight that. Open up another page. You know, I'm always looking up stuff. Like, what is this? Presuppose meaning of an action, process, or argument required as a precondition of possibility or coherence. Tacitly assume at the beginning of a line of argument or of course of action that something is the case. So it's saying duties of juridical nature presuppose others of moral nature which support them in principle and constitute their basis. All right. Inasmuch as spiritual development is the supreme end of human existence and the highest expression thereof, it is the duty of man to serve that end with all its strength and resources. Right? So that last little paragraph meant that the juridical nature is supposed to support everything after it. So y'all supposed to be getting these courts to enforce your spiritual aspirations, your spiritual rights. Because I just read, it says, inasmuch as spiritual development is the supreme end of human existence and the highest expression thereof, it is the duty of man to serve that end with all his strength and resources. Now, y'all always know me for years, always talk about spiritual things. The original purpose of Hindsight Radio was for me to get on and teach the Bible, not as they teach it in church, but pretty much like Reverend Ike teaches it and all the other spiritual leaders that was on that same path. That's what I wanted to do. That was my original purpose. 2012 is when I started Hindsight Radio. Then in 2015, I met someone and we, I didn't have any content before that. I was like, how am I going to get an audience? That's why I was more worried about an audience than just speaking. And a little side note or word of advice, if you got an idea, don't worry about the audience. The audience will come. Just put it out there. Put your content out there. Don't do like I did for 3 years, sit on this idea until something came along. And we went on, and I went on a sideway. I started talking about birth certificates, dairy party debt collector, court cases, which is great because now I'm a beast in those things. I'm coming back. I am back to where it needs to be. The spiritual needs to be the supreme thing in your life. The supreme mode of operation in your life. Whatever that is you choose to make spiritual. I'm not saying pick a certain religion or anything like that. I'm just saying tap into yourself, go in within and pull out your spiritual true nature, your spiritual side. All right. Since culture is the highest society and historical expression of that spiritual development, did you hear that? Since culture is the highest social and historical expression of that spiritual development, it is the duty of man to preserve, practice, and foster culture by every means within his power. Now, let me ask you a question. In this country, have they helped you foster your ancestral culture, spirituality? No. At every turn, they called it wicked, demonic. If you're listening, if the listener has an ear, hear what the Spirit is saying. This is real remedy. This is a actual, they adopted this document. This is adopted with these American states. that they will follow this. See, y'all been going into their little side rules and trying to get them to do right? Okay. I'm showing y'all. This is why when I went into court and did my name change, the first thing I said out my mouth was spiritual. And boom, walked out of there with my decree. All right. See, the first thing, the Bible says, put forth the kingdom first, then all these things will be added to you. Do I need to read that? Do I need to read it? Okay. Y'all need. I don't know the exact scripture. Put forth the. This is how I find stuff. So this is gonna help y'all do stuff. Kingdom. Sorry about my slow. Of heaven. Let's see if I can find it this way. It'll bring me to the scripture. It brought me to a bunch of YouTube videos. Okay. Let's see what this one is. The kingdom of heaven is like a nope. This is not what I want. It says try it this way. First, the kingdom of God. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see. There it is right there. Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. What is God? The high consciousness of your thoughts. For me, it's what's inside of me. God works through me. My higher consciousness. I got to put that first. See to the health of that consciousness first. That is, it is absorbing and emanating everything that is good that I desire. My highest form of divinity. Put that first. Nah, y'all putting other stuff first. Oh, I got to go vote. Oh, I got to go do this. I got to go do that. Something that has nothing to do with spirituality. And this is why you can't get the things. You can't get the things until you put the spiritual first. And this document is proving they knew this. That's why they said it was supreme. Right. And since moral conduct constitutes the noblest flowering of culture, it is the duty of every man always to hold it in high respect. All right. Now, you got whereas the American peoples, saying Americans, you don't see U.S. citizen, the American peoples have acknowledged the dignity of the individual, and their national constitutions recognize that juridical and political institutions which regulate life in human society have as their principal aim the protection of the essential rights of man and the creation of circumstances that will permit him to achieve spiritual and material progress and attain happiness. Wait a minute. They just did Matthew 6:33. They just said it. Look, it said, permit him to achieve spiritual material progress and attain happiness. Okay, what is Matthew 6:33? But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Wow. Okay. I told y'all they're using these spiritual laws in their laws, but you got to activate them. See, there is man's law, then there's God's law. They use them both. And right now, y'all working off of man's law. Most part, living off of his laws. And the reason why you're living off his laws, because you heard it on TV, you heard it on news. They told you Biden won, which he really didn't, by the way, because they don't certify the president until December. He really hasn't been certified as the president yet, or being the president-elect. Y'all heard that through the media. So that's just a little side note. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I know Trump's fighting it. Let's see what happens with that. But anyway, the American states have, on a repeated occasion, recognized the essential rights of man and are not derived from the fact that he is a national of a certain state. What? But are based upon attributes of his human personality. They didn't say U.S. citizen of a state. They said national. Lowercase n. All right. The international protection of rights of man should be the principal guide of an evolving American law. They're not saying U.S. law, stat codes and stat. They're saying American law. What's American law? Constitution and treaties. Okay? Like this one here. The affirmation of essential human rights by the American states, together with the guarantees given by the internal regimes of the states, establish the initial system of protection considered by the American states as being suited to the present social and juridical conditions, not without a recognition on their part that they should increasingly strengthen the system in the international field as conditions become more favorable. The Ninth International Conference of American States. Chapter 1. Article 1, rights. Every human being has the right to life, liberty, and security of his person. How do you have the rights and liberty and security of your person if they're just stopping you randomly without warrants? That goes against the Constitution. Okay? All persons are equal before the law and have the rights and duties established in this declaration without distinction as to race, sex, language, creed, or any other factor. So they covering everything. So in that one, every right there, doesn't matter who you are. You could be from outer space. All right. Every person has the right freely to profess a religious faith and to manifest and practice it both in public and in private. Wait a minute. Hold the phone, hold the mic, hold whatever. Do they let you practice your faith freely? Especially if you're not a Christian. You go into school, you put a little thing on and they, oh no, you can't wear that. They let you braid your hair. They don't want you to have braids, certain hairstyles. All you got to do is say, this is my religious faith. Boom, shuts it all down. Well, see, they got most people thinking distortedly about their religious faith and oh, I don't want to use that, you know, y'all professing everything else. Why not that? Some of y'all was out there professing WAP in D.C. for Biden. But y'all don't want to profess y'all faith, huh? That protects you. I'm trying to get y'all to put forth this kingdom first, the kingdom of heaven first. Then all the things will be added to you. Okay? That's why y'all don't have no things. Y'all don't have the material things to take care of your everyday basic needs. And that's, if you already got it, you got it. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to y'all that I feel like y'all struggling. Y'all don't have enough because you're not putting forth that kingdom. It's your responsibility. You too busy worrying about who's going to be the president. All right, let's keep going. Article 4, every person has the right to freedom of investigation, of opinion, and of expression and dissemination of ideas by any medium whatsoever. This here just told you, y'all got the right to study, read, and comprehend. And once you read and comprehend, put it into action. It just told you. But nah, y'all want to listen to the news and let them do all the studying and reading and telling y'all what's true and what's not. And by the way, first thing came out of Biden's mouth when he was speaking was, wear a mask, protect everyone, wear a mask. But what he didn't say, what research supports wearing a mask? They're telling you with a mask without the research. Come on now. The medical profession wasn't promoting wearing masks all these years. It was like it's unhealthy. And the news media, if you looked at it early, like in February, when people just started buying masks, when you were deciding to buy a mask on your own and wear it, the media came out and condemned everyone for doing that. Oh, we got a mask shortage. Y'all should not be wearing a mask. Fauci even said it. Now all of a sudden wearing a mask? See? Zombies. Y'all only do when they tell y'all to do. And when y'all did do it on your own, they beat you over the head. They didn't come back and retract that. Hey, we made a mistake back in February when we said that, and y'all was buying up all these masks because y'all was scared of what we was telling y'all was going on. See? You're only doing because you're being told to do. Y'all not doing what this says here. Every person has a right to freedom of investigation. Once y'all get out there and investigate what these people are saying. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all just want to listen. It's easier to listen and follow. Of opinion and of expression and dissemination of ideas by any medium whatsoever. So when people come at me, I use this all the time, and then I can see their eyes roll up in their head and they don't want to listen anymore. Truth always irritates a lie. Okay? 5, every person has a right to the protection of law against abusive attacks upon his honor, his reputation, and his private and family life. Isn't wearing a mask abuse of your attacks on you? Isn't it? That's your health you were talking about. 6, every person has a right to establish a family, the basic element of society, and to receive protection therefore. 7, all women during pregnancy and the nursing period and all children have the right to special protection, care, and aid. So they're saying women, children have special protection. Are y'all doing that? When y'all out there in the street, men praising these slave masters, the next plantation runner, are you protecting your family? No. When your finances ain't straight to pay your bills, no. Oh, Akeem, it's not my fault. It's hard out here. It's hard out here because that's what you said it was, hard. So you living out your words. Your words become flesh. In other words, your words become materialized right before you. They manifest. Your words become manifested. Stop saying it's hard and start saying it's easy, man. Making money is easy. Money flows to me freely. Money chases me. Money runs to me. I always have money. My bank account is overflowing. Are you saying those things? No, you're saying everything opposite of that, and that's why you don't have. It ain't got nothing to do with the president. It ain't got nothing to do with Congress. It's got nothing to do with anything. It ain't got nothing to do with your wife, your children. It got everything to do with you. You want to be the head? Be the head. And be the head in saying the right things, speaking them into existence. Article 8. Every person has a right to fix his residence within the territory of the state of which he is a national. I didn't say U.S. citizen. Whoa. To move about freely within such territory and not to leave it except by his own will. Also, this basically saying you don't even need a passport. By his own will. But if you want me to have a passport, I'll get it. But you can't stop me. Because why? You a national. Oh. Are y'all okay out there? Are y'all hearing me? I know this is some people putting their head in the head spin because ain't none of the people out here ever read this. Okay? Every person has a right to the inviolability of his home. Look, what is that? What is that word? What is that? Let's put meaning. All right. Prohibiting violation, secure from destruction, violence, infringement, or desecration, an inviolable sanctuary, inviolable promise, incapable of being violated, incorruptible. So they can't corrupt your home. What is a foreclosure? Whoa. Okay. Let me move on. Every person has a right to the inviolability and transmission of his correspondence. Oh, so they can't even corrupt your paperwork when you send it to them. You have a right. Definition again: prohibiting violations, cure from destruction. You spent paperwork, all of a sudden it disappears. Huh? I smell remedy. I smell another template coming. Every person has the right to the preservation of his health through sanitary and social measures relating to food, clothing, housing, and medical care to the extent permitted by public and community resources. Clinton water crisis, aren't they hurting those people over there? Keep going. Every person has a right to take. Oh, I just skipped the whole big thing. Sorry. Every person has the right to an education which should be based on the principles of liberty, morality, and human solidarity. Likewise, every person has the right to an education that will prepare him to attain a decent life, to raise his standard of living, and to be a useful member of society. The right to an education includes the right to equality of opportunity in every case in accordance with the natural talents, merit, and desire to utilize the resources that the state or the community is in position to provide. Every person has the right to receive free, at least a primary education. So they put now, can you say that the educational structure fits this definition? Do they really teach you what you supposed to have to survive? I smell a lawsuit against the educational system. Wow. That's a class action. Because they do not teach you the things that you really need to make it in this world. You have to figure out all of that, balancing checkbooks, running the business, managing money. That's not taught in school. Because let me read it. It said, like, everyone has a right to an education that will prepare him to attain a decent life, to raise his standard of living, and to be a useful member of society. And education don't really teach you that. You have to figure some of those things after. A lot of that comes after you leave, primary school, primary education. And see, a lot of these jobs are saying that you can't even get the job unless you have these certain degrees. Raise your level of standard of living. Because they saying that's a right. So they put the other, your the things that you really need to make it in some of these jobs. You have to have some of these degrees. So you got to go put all this money out. Now, I remember I told y'all when people were doing my process, all of a sudden student loans started going bye-bye. But I'm not promoting that my process gets rid of student loans. I'm not saying that. That's just what I have seen. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Every person has a right to take part in the cultural life of the community, to enjoy the arts, and to participate in the benefits that result from intellectual progress, especially scientific discoveries. He likewise had the right to the protection of the moral and material interests as regards his inventions or any literary, scientific, or artistic works of which he is the author. Let me, back to this education. When I was a territory rep for Time Warner Cable way back when, and I had these apartment communities. I had about 19 different communities. And one of the communities was the University of South Carolina's dorms. And, I had all of them. It's a lot of them in different places. But then one of these dorms, they had these international students. A lot of them were from, I think it was Papua New Guinea, which was an English-speaking country, or American state. I wouldn't even say they were not they may not be American. I might be wrong about that. But they would come over here and they had the money. They had their country paid for their education. And then I think if you really believe, look deep, and because it says you have a right to this education. So these countries are living by this, right? This agreement. I think I'm gonna do the research. I'm just putting it out there. So I'm hoping somebody get ahead of me and look it up. That if you wanted to travel abroad, you as an American, not as a U.S. citizen, you get that funded. Because you have a right to it. See, these countries are giving it to their people. You see, let me go back to see one of the countries, because maybe that was one of the countries in here in this agreement. Guyana. No, I don't see that country, but I know, they got a debit card. They were taken care of. They just applied and they got sent over here. And I guess I know, of course, they had to maintain certain grades to get that. They're not gonna just send any zombie over here. They're gonna send their best. All right. Every person has the right to work under proper conditions and to follow his vocation freely insofar as existing conditions of employment permit. Every person who works has the right to receive such remuneration as well. Remuneration is what you get paid. In proportion to his capacity and skill, assure him a standard of living suitable for himself and his family. So your trustee went over there and signed this agreement, the United States trustee, for you to get suitable jobs for you so that you can live. Are they doing that? But yet y'all running in the street praising this guy who's been in politics for 47 years and shown y'all who he is. Do you think he changed? I think not. All right, keep going. Every person has the right to leisure time, to wholesome recreation, and to the opportunity and advantageous use of his free time to his what? Spiritual, cultural, and physical benefit. They put spiritual right at the top, right in the beginning. They keep going back to that. Every person has a right to Social Security, which will protect him from the consequences of unemployment, old age, and any disability arising from causes beyond his control that make it physically or mentally impossible for him to earn a living. So you got a right to Social Security, but it doesn't say anything. You got to fund it for them. Let me keep going. Every person has a right to be recognized everywhere. Let me go back to that. A lot of people say, well, can I get my Social Security? Yes, you can. You're an American. Remember that. You can get it. Every person has a right to be recognized everywhere as a person having rights and obligations and enjoy the basic civil rights. Every person may resort to the courts to ensure respect for his legal rights. I just told y'all, I smell a lawsuit because a lot of things they're not living up to this agreement. There should likewise be available to him a simple, brief procedure whereby the courts will protect him from acts of authority that, to his prejudice, violate any fundamental constitutional rights. So they said there should be likewise to be available to him a simple, brief procedure. But when y'all go in there, they have all these long, drawn out things. So basically, when they say when you go into court, as an American, that's why my court cases don't be lasting no more than 10 minutes. They got to treat you differently. This is simple, brief procedure. Court switches up. See, all that long, drawn out BS is for the U.S. citizen. Okay? Let me get to the good part. Well, all of it's good, but here it is. Every person has a right to the nationality to which he is entitled by law and to change it, if he so wishes, for the nationality of any other country that is willing to grant it to him. So you can change your nationality whenever you want. You can claim whatever. Every person have legal capacity, is entitled to participate in the government of his country directly or through his representatives, and to take part in popular elections, which shall be by secret ballot and shall be honest, periodic, and free. And this last election wasn't honest at all. I can go into that one too. Every person has a right to assemble peacefully with others in a formal public meeting or an informal gathering in connection with matters of common interest of any nature. How are they upholding this one when they're telling you can't meet more than 10, 25, and they using health as a basis for that, this pandemic, without real scientific proof? You just got people just making claims, right? Like on just a little extra. They got most people around here walking around wearing masks, but the cases are going up and they're breaking records now. But they wearing masks, but yet this guy Biden is up here talking about wearing masks. Wait a minute. They are wearing masks and their cases are going through the roof. They weren't doing that before they made these mask mandates. See, this is how stupid these politicians are. They come up with these things, and then the people are even stupider to even like, dude. Most people are wearing masks. I was on a plane, went to Mexico, and they made everybody wear masks on this plane. But yet the cases are going through the roof. Something's wrong with the math here. Something's wrong with the method. Come on, we got to start using common sense, y'all. Every person has the right to associate with others to promote, exercise, and protect his legitimate interests of political, economic, religious, social, cultural, professional, labor, union, or other nature. Every person has a right to own such private property as meets the essential needs of decent living and helps to maintain the dignity of the individual and of the home. These are your rights. Every person has a right to submit respectful petitions to any competent authority for reasons or either general or private interest. See, it said general or private interest, and the right to obtain a prompt decision thereon. Are these courts doing that? Why? Because y'all going in as U.S. citizens. All right. No person may be deprived of his liberty except in the cases according to the procedures established by pre-existing law. No person may be deprived of liberty for non-fulfillment of obligations of a purely civil character. Wait a minute. So if a man doesn't pay child support, that means that he shouldn't be going to jail. This just said that. No person may be deprived of liberty for non-fulfillment of obligations of a purely civil character. They violate that all the time. Every individual who has been deprived of his liberty has a right to have the legality of his detention ascertained without delay by a court and a right to be tried without undue delay or otherwise to be released. So when they put you in jail 2-3 days, you ain't seen the judge, they gotta let you go or see the judge. He also has a right to humane treatment during the time he is in custody. They don't follow this at all. Every accused person is presumed to be innocent until proved guilty. Every person accused of an offense has the right to be given an impartial and public hearing and to be tried by courts previously established in accordance with pre-existing laws and not to receive cruel, infamous, or unusual punishments. Every person has a right in case of pursuit not resulting from ordinary crimes to seek and receive asylum in foreign territory in accordance with the laws of each country and with international agreements. The rights of man are limited by the rights of others, by the security of all, and by the just demands of general welfare and the advancement of democracy. Then it's got chapter 2's duties to society, duties toward children and parents, duty to receive instruction, duty to vote, duty to obey the law, duty to serve the community and the nation. See, you got duties too. And they do talk about duty to pay tax. I ain't liking that one. But if you got your trust set up, that's a non-issue. If you operating in commerce properly, that's a non-issue. Akeem, how do I operate? Well, my private membership teaches that. It's still at that reduced rate. Y'all need to go there before. I'm going to raise it up come the first of the year. All right. The reason why I'm raising it up because, we had discussions and with the gravity and the weight of the remedy, it's at an all-time low. So, so get in there before the year is out. Akeemel.com. Hit the premium membership. It's got a lot of benefits to it. You got, first of all, nationality is the order of the day. We doing that first. And then we're going to show you how to do your 1041s with your trust properly, your 3 trusts you got set up. And the man that does it all, he's going to process that for you and get you recoup all those funds you've been putting out throughout the year properly. Keep that money in your pocket, and you're staying within your rights. Okay. Akimel.com / just akimel.com, and that's the premium. It's a link right there in that page. It'll be in the description. But here it is. I read this document. Go read it yourself and all your rights. And if you feel like you got it figured out, prepare your document and submit it to enforce these rights. Okay? All right. Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth, and extreme health to all. Peace.